Welcome to the Power of Casual Conversations. I'm Romy Neustadt, and I'm thrilled that you're joining us to learn how to use this incredibly powerful tool in your business. It's the ability to bring your business with you wherever you go. Now, you've already learned how to do the kind of conversations, the prospecting that you do kind of formally when you're picking up the phone and you're reaching out to people on your laundry list of those you know on the planet with skin, and also those you've been referred to. Well, here we're going to talk about how to start the conversations with people that you meet just going about your everyday life. And the beautiful part of this is that even when you're not working within your quote-unquote hours of operation, you can still be monetizing conversations you have. So really listen to how this is done and practice it often. So I can't think of anybody better to take us through this than Allison and Mitch Groder. I'm thrilled they're with us because these two are not only a powerhouse in all aspects of Rodan and Fields, but they have become incredibly adept at doing these casual conversations in a very productive and authentic way. And also they happen to be among the most dynamic Gen Yers in the entire company. And after you listen to them, you'll understand why you want to get more Gen Yers on your team as well. So I'm thrilled to pass it over, I think straight from Minneapolis, Allison.
Thank you so much, Romy, for having us talk about this. I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite topics, and it has been so powerful for our business, like you said. We are going to be talking about how to strike up conversations with anyone when you're out and about during your everyday life. We get to take this skill wherever we go. So take a pen and paper out and get ready to get out there and share with everyone you meet. Another term for this method of sharing is lifestyle marketing. So what is it exactly? My definition would be, in our business, it is a way to meet people when you are going about your everyday activities. You could be at a coffee shop, at your kids' swim meet, at the dog park, on an airplane, on vacation, or at a wedding. You meet new people because they're all around you, and in some way you incorporate your business or products into your conversation in an unobtrusive way. What I want to boil it down to is a very simple concept. Make a new friend every day and make friends everywhere you go. You never know if your next runner or power partner is in the same room or sitting right next to you. Lifestyle marketing is really what allows us to fit this business in and around our already existing familial, personal, and professional obligations. So it's so important to practice this all the time. I love being in a place where I don't know many people because these are huge opportunities to meet friends. For those of you who don't know, I met Nicole Cormany on the airplane, and she was the one who introduced Rodan and Fields to me. So this really does work, and if she hadn't struck up a conversation with me that day traveling home from New Jersey, then I wouldn't be on her team and certainly wouldn't be where I am today. So you can be doing this anywhere at any time. Whether you're on the elevator, waiting for a hotel shuttle, checking out at the grocery store, wherever it may be, walk around the world smiling at everyone. If someone smiles back, bingo. Find a way to spark a conversation and build a relationship. Can you comment on the gift they're buying, their haircut, the great boots they're wearing? Maybe it's their kid's t-shirt that happens to have a logo to a familiar location. If you are at a beach or park, you can ask people if they're from around here or if they're traveling. Anything to ignite a conversation. I want to be crystal clear about what this is not. It is important to note that we are not lurking around public areas with the mentality of getting people to join our team. We genuinely enjoy meeting new people, learning about them, helping them by being a good connector, and you just never know where it could lead. We're not becoming the obnoxious gal or guy who people start to avoid. You know, those people who cannot get who we cannot get to stop talking about a certain topic, in this case our business and how it's the best thing ever. This is what we call verbal vomit. We do not want to be doing this. People don't want to be subject to that. So remember, we're not doing a full-fledged business presentation when we are meeting new people. We pepper them with little bits of information when it comes up in conversation, but we really want to be learning about them. So be sure to be a good listener. So be aware not to vomit RNF all over people. We do not want to overwhelm them with too much information that could potentially scare them off. The other thing we're not doing is walking around handing out business cards in public areas. I have some team members who have told me, hey, Allie, I've done my work for today. I dropped off some business cards at 6 local stores. Yikes, this is not what we're talking about when we talk about lifestyle marketing and starting casual conversations. What we're talking about is building relationships and getting to know people. And yes, you use your business card as a segue into getting their contact information. That's the key. People want to join this business with people who they have relationships with. So now let's talk about how we are doing this. Like I said, we're not doing full business presentations to people we have just met. Our goal is simply to build a relationship and to get digits and contact info. Some more ideas of where you could be doing this are on play dates with your kids, in the checkout line at Target, at social events, weddings, holiday parties, in transit, planes, trains, and automobiles. When you're out in the world looking to start a conversation with someone, you want to be all about them. Be sure that you're asking them a ton of questions about themselves. Be a great interviewer. People love to talk about themselves, and they will love you if you are truly interested in them. I almost always get to, are you from around here? Where do you work? Most likely, this will help you lead into your quick elevator pitch that you will have ready at all times. This elevator pitch is a very important component when you're lifestyle marketing. So what is an elevator pitch? After you have asked your new friend all about them, most likely they will ask what you do. You will have your short and punchy response ready, and this is your elevator pitch. Here is what I say, but keep in mind that you can customize it to make it your own so that you're comfortable with it and it sounds like you. I work with the doctors who created Proactiv on their new business venture focused now on anti-aging, and I'm helping them expand nationally. Then we immediately turn the conversation back to them. So let's now take a look at some different hooks we could use to lead us to the next step and to gather digits and contact information. In other words, a segue. If someone has told you they are visiting from Boston, you could say, so I know you said you're from Boston. You know, my business is expanding in Boston, and I'm looking for some real dynamos to help me expand New England. Wondering if I could get your help networking. Do you have a card? I'd love to pick your brain about who you know. If someone has shared with you that they are a teacher in the area, you could say, I know you mentioned you're a 4th grade teacher. I actually work with several teachers who do very well in my business, and I'm looking for a few more people to help my company expand. You seem to be very well connected and involved in the community. I'm wondering if I could give you a call sometime to pick your brain about who you know in your teacher circle. Do you have a card? What about if they have kids and maybe you're at a gymnastics class picking up your daughter? Well, Susie, it was great getting to know you a bit and watching our daughters at gymnastics today. Seems like they get along great. I'd love to get your number to set up a play date one of these days. What do you think? So if someone who has kids, if there's someone who has kids but you don't live in the same area and you couldn't really set up a play date, you could say something like, I get to work with so many stay-at-home moms who have realized that they love to work around the schedules of their children and their families and have been able to see some great success. They are no longer interested in going back to the corporate job after kids, and they're really enjoying the flexibility. I'm wondering if you might know some moms in your circle of friends who I could be connected with. I'd love to get your card and give you a call sometime. Would that be okay? If they don't have a card, always have a notebook or have your phone ready to grab their name, their number, and their email address. Another, when talking to them, find out how they feel about their own job. Do they love it? Do they wish they made more money? How about have more time? People share clues about how they don't love their current job or how they wish they had more free time. Pick up on these clues. Well, Susie, it sounds like your job is very stressful, working late hours and having only a couple hours with your family in the evenings when you're exhausted. No wonder you're feeling so overwhelmed. You know, I remember being in the same boat when I worked full-time. I'm really thankful for being able to start my own business where I can work around my family's schedule. I now feel like I have the time and energy to do the things I love most. I'd love to share with you what I've been up to and a little about my company. Perhaps during your lunch hour sometime. I wouldn't want to cut into your family time. How about you give me your number? Do you have a card? Again, be sure to have your phone or notebook out to take down their info if they don't have a card. This is a little more direct, but if you're getting those clues that they're really looking for change and are open to listen, then this would be a great time to ask. Notice that when we mention our business to people, we often, not always, but we often will use referral language and ask them, who do you know? Or could I get your help networking? What this does is it helps to take the pressure off you and the person you're talking to. What you are doing is simply asking for their help. And trust me, people love to help. It is as if you are asking someone for a great restaurant recommendation or a babysitter in the area. More likely than not, people are willing to help you out. So what's the next step? Okay, now what do we do with all those new contact numbers and information that we've gathered? You will start to have a whole bunch of new names and numbers. The first thing I do is add the person on Facebook as a friend and send them a brief message. If I have already mentioned that I would like to speak to them about my business, I will direct message them and say, hi, Katie. It was great meeting you at the park the other day. I know I mentioned that I started a new business and am expanding. You seem to be so energetic and fun, and I thought you might be a great person to reach out to, as I would love your help networking. Would tomorrow at 10 a.m. or 5 p.m. be a good time to connect? Let me know which works for you, and I'll give you a shout. Thanks for your help, Allison. If it's someone who I hadn't talked much about the business to, I will say, hi, Catherine. Again, it was so nice getting to know you at gymnastics class. We have quite the gymnast. Like I said, I'd love to get together so the two girls could play sometime. Let's be in touch. Now, this kind of message is simply to make the connection and to build the relationship. So remember, it's not always going to happen overnight, and it can take several contacts and several times to establish this connection. If I did not find them on Facebook and I just have their numbers, it's important not to wait too long to follow up. If they talked about a time frame that they are available when we met, I make sure to respect that. Like if they were on vacation and told me that next week would be a better time to touch base. Otherwise, I will usually give it 1 to 2 full days, and I often won't make that initial call on a weekend. And this is what I will say. Hi, Sarah, it's Allison Groder. We met on the plane the other day on your flight back to Minneapolis. Hey, it was really great meeting you. I had mentioned to you that I have started a new business. I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you about it because I have a feeling you'll be able to connect me to a few great people as we're expanding in the Twin Cities. I am so new here, and after getting to know you a bit, you seem to be so friendly and well-connected being a teacher and all. Do you have about 10 minutes right now that I could share with you? And share with you what I'm up to and see who comes to mind. If she says, no, I'm actually running out the door right now, I will say, hey, no problem at all. What does your schedule look like tomorrow? I have 9 a.m. or 7 p.m. free. Remember, you are busy and you need to make sure to give the person options and take control of your schedule. So you don't want to leave it wide open to them. If she says, yeah, sure, I'd love to hear about it, then I say, great. So like I mentioned to you on the plane, I'm working with the doctors who created Proactiv. You've heard of Proactiv, right? They will most likely have a story about Proactiv for you because everyone does. Okay, so what they did for acne, they're now doing for aging skin. And I don't know if you know, but it is the largest skincare category out there, certainly way bigger than acne. So then I'm going to tell her my story, and I'll go into really sharing about myself and my neatly packaged story. From there, I'm going to continue by saying, so Sarah, I'd love to fill you in more about what this is and what I'm looking for, as I have a feeling you'll be able to lead me to some great people. I then will transition into talking about the 5 Ps, the products, the presence of our doctors, our programs, our profit potential, and positioning. Be sure to keep it brief and succinct and be conscious of their time. From there, I will ask for references for the top 3 dynamic people that come to mind who would be a great fit for this business. At this point, they may be thinking to themselves, hey, could I do this? Whatever the case is, you will follow the progression of scenarios that are discussed on the How to Talk People webinar. So we now would like to share some real-life examples of putting this into practice. Through very simple, casual conversations, our business has changed immensely. I'm excited for you to hear from my husband, Mitch. He has a full-time job as an airline pilot and fits lifestyle marketing in on a daily basis because he realizes the power of it and how it has changed our business. I consider him my power partner, and we've had a ton of fun growing this business together as we're building an asset for our future. Mitch, over to you.
Well, thank you, Allison. I am so excited about where this business is going, and we are using lifestyle marketing as a powerful tool in our toolbox. I've shared this lifestyle marketing conversation with tons of times with this success. Of all the examples, I'm going to share a few with you. Let's start with one of my favorite examples of a simple conversation that grew our business immensely. This first example quickly showed me how powerful a casual conversation can be. So one day I was boarding a flight, and so I sat down in the window seat, and I was actually planning on taking a nap. Before I could settle in, a guy sat down next to me, and I could tell that he was outgoing and friendly. We struck up a small conversation that led to talking the entire 2-hour flight. We talked about everything. We talked about our families and our favorite travel spots, fishing, you name it. He ended up sharing with me how he and his wife had one son and another one on the way, and they desired to be at home while raising their boys. Towards the end of the flight, he asked me what my wife did for work. I had the elevator pitch ready to go. I replied, she's working with the doctors that created Proactiv on their new business venture. What they did for acne, they're now doing for aging skin with their new company, and she coaches people across the country on how to grow their business. I quickly turned the conversation back to him, and before I got off the airplane, I told him that we were growing in their area, and I gave him Allison's business card. From there, I asked for his wife's contact information as well. He went home, shared this with his wife, and she quickly saw the opportunity and jumped on board right away. This one casual conversation led to enormous growth on our team, and this added 5 states to our organization that's growing day after day. After this conversation, I quickly learned that I needed to be sharing this opportunity with people that I come in contact with every day. So here's another example of lifestyle marketing that happened just recently. I just met a new coworker that I had never met before, and I got to know him by being a good listener. He shared how his family had taken a large pay cut due to the closure of another company that he used to work for, and that they were looking for something on the side to supplement their income. I shared with him that my wife and I run a business that's doing really well. As soon as I shared that it was skincare, he told me how ironic this was because he had noticed a lot of people in their network showing an increased interest in anti-aging, taking care of their skin. So with his permission, I shared with him about the history of our company and where we were going, and I got his contact information as well as his wife's. They ended up joining us in business a week later simply because I shared with him that we are running a business that is growing exponentially. So we've learned how powerful these conversations are. The more you do this, the more you train your lifestyle marketing muscle, and the more it gets toned. So just like an athlete in training, it's not always easy, but let me tell you, it's worth it. The only way to train your muscle is to get out there and use it. So just think about the number of people that you will be around in the next week or in the next month, the number of people that you'll be around in the next year who may be interested in this business or know someone who is. If you don't share it, they won't know about it, and you won't grow. Lifestyle marketing, let me tell you, it can take you a little bit outside of your comfort zone. But for Allison and myself, we push ourselves to talk to as many people as possible because we know that the payoff will be worth it. We really feel like we've been given a gift, and we have the opportunity to share it with everyone that we meet.
So I hope you've gotten the idea now from Allison and Mitch that this is really simplistic. It's connecting with others. It's starting conversations, showing a genuine interest in them, and then figuring out a way to get to the point of asking them for their digits, their telephone number, and their email address, and then being able to follow up with them later in the same manner that we reach out to other people on our list. Now, if you're anything like me, you are going to have times when you are standing in line or sitting next to somebody at the movie theater waiting for the movie to begin, and you're having that internal war with yourself. One voice is saying, "Oh, talk to him." The other one's saying, "No, don't do it." And you're hesitating for some reason, or you may be having a conversation with someone and it's going well, but you're not taking the hook to get the digits. And again, something's holding you back. Well, I want you to really listen to the story that I'm about to tell you, because I want you to force yourself to have those conversations and to find the hook. And if you are just not meeting enough people in just casual conversation out and about in the world, guess what? You're not getting out of the house enough. You need to actually leave the house. Let me tell you one of my very favorite stories from our business. One day, my personal business partner, Nicole Cormany, was out going for a power walk in the beautiful trails in Bozeman, Montana. And she happened upon a friend of hers who lived in the neighborhood, Tracy Willard. And they were chit-chatting, and Tracy asked Nick how it's going. And Nick said, "It's fabulous, blah, 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 blah. And I was just able to quit my marketing job because I'm doing something much more fun and much more lucrative." Now, Tracy couldn't believe it, because who in this economy was quitting their job? But what Nicole didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that just minutes earlier, Tracy was a crumbled mess on the floor of her closet in utter despair. You see, she and her husband had been hit so hard in the economy that even though they lived in this beautiful home in Bozeman, what was going on inside that house is that there was more months than money. There were times it was difficult to fill her two beautiful daughters' lunch boxes. In fact, Tracy had been going to the food bank. And when she was on the floor of her closet, she asked for help, something that could get them out of this mess. And what do you know? She ran into Nick. And because of that conversation, and because of the chit-chat that happened, and then the question of how you doing, and Nicole dripping on her with something, and then talking more to Tracy about Tracy, Tracy said, really, now let's get back to what are you doing? Well, I'm working with the doctors who created Proactive. And the conversation went on, and Tracy said, but do you think, is that something I could do? I'm a teacher. I have no sales experience. And I think it was just 2 days later that Tracy came on board. And in 2.5 years, Tracy and her family went from food stamps to her free Lexus. Sorry, guys, this story gets me choked up. So you never know. The next person you talk to, you could truly change their life. You owe it to them. So go out, everybody. Talk to everyone with skin. Here's wishing you some delightful and lucrative conversations.